I came here to save you.
The fortress is taken.
It is over.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
You're my only hope.
We shall fight on the beaches.
There will be days when we lose faith.
We band of brothers.
But take heart. Look around. You're not in this fight alone.
I bid you stand! Men of the West!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to KingsAdvisors. My name is Dan. I'm joined by Caleb.
How do you do?
And today we are here to talk about National Treasure. I think it's called Edge of History TV series.
Yes.
And
Edge of
it
History,
is
episode 4.
Episode 4. Okay, so I just watched it. I've got my notes in front of me. Caleb and I were behind in the studio, and we're just discussing it. And Caleb, do you want to just go ahead and pick up right where we left off?
Yeah. So I actually thought episode 4 was the best so far. Dan and I are going to greatly disagree on that, it would appear. There were only, I think, 2 things. But now it's been 2 weeks since I watched this, I must have to say. But I think there were 2 moments in this episode that I was just like, oh, come off it. And the first was up there at the beginning when Jess, the main character, says that Sacagawea was forced to work for Lewis and Clark. Every history book I've ever read says that it was a very mutual relationship.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know if I should go really too far into the historical aspects of what they're claiming, but yeah, for like, you know, our purposes, it's always been generalized. I mean, she's on our currency, like she's always been an ally of the early American government. So it was I never really got the impression that it was somebody who was not. I don't know if you wanted to keep going with your thought or if you wanted.
No, I mean, so that's the my first big issue with this episode. My other issue comes later, but there isn't a lot that happens in this episode, which I think is probably why I think it's the best episode so far.
That's hilarious.
Because they don't have a lot of stuff to throw for modern audiences.
Well, I'll just take that and I'll run with it because honestly, this episode was so boring. Like I just
yes, it is a boring episode. But
and so that's why I was like the whole time I was like, oh my gosh, this is painfully like it felt like daytime television. I was like, oh my goodness.
A bit, yeah, I could see that.
It's just like all drama. Like that's all it seems like now. It's not exciting or fun. And I know there was like an exciting scene in there, which we'll get to, but my goodness, was it boring? I just did not care.
Yeah, no,
So right off the bat, I mean, honestly, like jumping right into it, the recap shows you who Riley Poole is for this episode. I have his name written down. It's Justin Bartha. He's from the Hangover movies also.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's in the recap. So you're like, this is odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're just like, is this like from this, like, did I miss something? Or is there just like, this is from the movies, right?
Because no one watching the 4th episode of this show would know who Riley Poole is.
Not without like some like first, if he was in the show, if he was like the first.
Well, right. But what I mean is anyone that's been watching 4 episodes of this show is either watching it to critique it like us or because they like the movies. This show isn't garnering new fans.
No, it's just pissing off old ones who would have liked a National Treasure show.
Yeah.
Because there is, again, it's what I said last time. I was like, well, there's potential here. Somebody here cares about this lineage because I have the same notes written down as last time. It's like they care about the canonical history of this universe. Like they have the names of the FBI agents are the same. Like everybody is the same for the purposes of like keeping the canon correct, which I
Mhm.
admire. I'm like, okay, well, at least they're like working on it. Like, it's some of this stuff is a little forced. Like, this guy's got a grandson, or like, Sandusky's got a grandson. So it's like, all right. But yeah, for the most part, it just like starts off poorly to me. It's got Riley comes in and he gives the bad, like the plane landing, which was just so cringy. I mean, it was just
Yeah, no, I agree on that.
like who wrote this? Rebecca Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think he's supposed to be on the phone with Ben Gates,
oh yeah, I
and
just have bad exposition.
yeah,
Yeah, bad exposition phone call. Like, just so bad.
there's better ways to do that.
And it's just like, hey, Ben Gates from the other movies. How are you doing? Yes, yes.
He might as well
how's
have
your
looked at the
daughter?
camera and winked.
I mean, even like a letter might have been better. You know what I mean? Like, hi,
Mhm.
and just like, I don't know if you could get Nicolas Cage's voice, but that would have been better. And it seemed like they were teasing something else coming up, and then we'll get to that later in the episode. But it's just like, the part in the beginning where you might not remember it too much, but I'll describe it a little bit. But the part where she like looks at the painting and the painting starts to come to life a little bit.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Those scenes are cool where they take like those actual pieces of historical art and they sorry, my cat's jumping all over my freaking laptop. Um where they take the historical piece of art and they start making it move and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden it like loses me because they kind of take away from like what the interesting part of it is, which is like the siege of the city and the people fighting. Like, I can't help it. That's what's interesting to me. And then they cut it to like the people fleeing with the treasure, which I know is the show, but it's still like it seems like they're kind of losing their history edge of this show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's got no reason for people to watch it. Like, it's not historical. It's not the characters we know. It's just made up people doing made up stuff. So it's like, why even do this? Why even do National Treasure? Like,
well,
just
that's
call
the
it a
issue with
different
doing
show.
this as a show
Yeah.
because you've got to fill X number of episodes. So you've got your historical story, and then you decide, okay, well, we can only put like 3 minutes of this story in each episode, which is what we've gotten so far. It's
Yeah, that's
just sad,
exactly
really.
right. It's really just sad. Yeah, sad. So, just moving on, they're really milking that Elvis impersonators recording. Like, they
Yep.
must have paid good money for that. So they're like, "Oh, play it again." That was some money. Let's see. Scene 2, bros suck. The Asian guy is always weird in the scenes where he's like, "I'm going golfing." Like, we're not supposed to talk about the clues. Like, what are you talking about? We don't know any of these rules between you two. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so painful when he's in the scene. Like, again, he's seriously highlighted when he was in Graceland doing the improv stuff. I was actually really impressed with that. I was like, this is actually pretty good. And then now it's just back to like, I'm just brooding Asian guy.
Yeah.
And then exposition. And the next scene is when the black girl is talking about exposition rundown, explaining why all these people were important and that the Latin girl was awesome. And then they're like, who's going to get who are we going to get to solve this puzzle? And then that's when the intro is for Riley Poole, which is so cringy. I mean, oh my God. It's just, he's like, oh, let's blow this guy's ego up because he's the guest star this week. So we'll put him in a runway with a plane. He's not going to, we're not going to fly the plane, but,
We're not going to give him his Ferrari from the second movie.
Well, that's too much. He'd probably want to drive that, Yeah, no, not going to give him his Ferrari from the second movie, which would have been a good little callback if he had just showed up in that, which would have been really funny. Actually, now that you remind me of that.
Yeah, well, because you could have you wouldn't have this wide shot that's as cringy as this. You'd see him pull up, get out of his car, and I don't know, walk into a coffee shop or something. And it would seem much more normal than getting off a jet.
Yeah, why getting off a jet? Like, and it was so like, hey, I started a podcast. Like, our podcast is going, and like, it was all so much. It was like, so he's still friends with Ben Gates. He's here for a funeral. He's doing a podcast. like he's gonna jet. What? And now he's gonna help the people too. You know,
Yeah.
he's gonna help our main characters too. So I don't know. I would just, and his performance in this episode was just every time I saw him, I was like, yeah, guest star of the week. Like, let's go. Let's see. The intro music's still good. I still liked that. I thought that was pretty good. I did note this time, because I'm trying to listen to the music more in things and make note of that. I did notice that this time I hated the switching between the music. Like, there's a part where it's like the real like somber, like bum bum bum, like kind of Spielbergy, like we're on an adventure music, and then it switches straight to like the guitar, like dun 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 dun
Oh
dun.
yeah.
And I'm like, I can actually go without that the whole time now. Like, I think the adventure music is really good and should be the focus of the theme. And it just feels like you're trying to shoehorn in some like heritage identity thing into this. Like, just make it about people who are hunting for treasure. That's kind of like, almost, if dare I say, it's almost like a universal trait of all cultures. Like, we all value these things.
Oh yeah.
So, it'd be cool. Like, it would actually draw in a lot of people if their love was actually just history and love of treasure. So, yeah, that was bad. Do you have anything to say about the phone call before I move, or the intro before I move on?
No, if we're just up to Riley Poole's arrival, no, I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. Okay. So then, scene 4, his exposition phone call. Yeah, that was just bad. And scene 5 is when she gets the Zoom call from the professor who's
Yeah.
dismissing.
Who a man that dismisses her. I
Yeah,
will
I'm
say
surprised.
though, it does feel a little more real with some of the people that I know in academia than I would have thought they would have. I would have expected this to be straight up. Of course, you don't know anything, little girl. This felt just a tad more real than that.
Yeah, you say that until I realize I've never had a Zoom call where I discussed a theory with a professor in my life. Like,
Oh,
I
I
just
have.
don't like a theory like this. Like, you would write a hypothesis on. Like, what you
Yeah,
would.
I had. I did a couple
Is
of.
she a student?
No, okay. So that is a bit weird. Well,
That's what I mean.
people have video calls with
So
people that
so
they're not in the same area with.
I watch a show called The Curse of Oak Island. It's very cheesy. It's lame. It's on History Channel, but it's an interesting show. They're searching for treasure on an island in Canada where they think.
Alien treasure.
No, dude, no, nothing like that, man. Like, it's more just like Spanish treasure or Portuguese treasure.
Oh,
Where they
so
think
this is
it's gonna be
before
friends.
8 p.m.
Yes. This is 8 p.m. This is like, when you watch Coast of Oak Island, you're like, you're done with history. Like, you're like, okay, now you move on into weird, goofy stuff. But it's a good show. I've been watching it for years now. My fiance and I watch it. That's not what this is about. In the show, they have all kinds of professors on, and they have like people who present theories and stuff like that. And it's a big deal. Like, it's not like in your bedroom, you're going to get a professor in the middle of their day to sit down and explain why you're wrong. They're just going to be like, well, you're wrong through a text message or an email.
Yeah. The other
You know what I
problem with
mean?
this is there's no like semblance of how much time has passed.
That's a good point too. Like, has she
so
been
it's like
doing this? Yeah. Go ahead.
So because she tells her friend there's another person to throw away my theory. So the question is, has she been doing? Is this her 10th call? And how many days have passed since she now has this theory? Because you're not, especially a professor that would be able to dismiss that theory, you're not going to get that call back in a day.
That's all I meant. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you humoring me there. I'm probably being a little too nitpicky, but I was like, just like, as somebody, and I know that when you go through academia, it's not even then you get like such a clear cut answer from like an academic like that, to where you're just like in your bedroom, like, geez, like I just asked Jeeves and he said no. You know what I mean? Like it just,
Yes.
it almost felt like they were going to introduce that as like her uncle or something, that somebody that she could have quick access to, but they
Mhm.
didn't. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's
Well,
what's his name from the Spy Kids?
yes. Yeah. Exactly. Let's see. Next, now they're going to flirt. Now they don't know if they're going to flirt. This is when I started like really checking.
The
Like, oh,
invite him over for pizza.
yeah, I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't care. And then the guy, this is the part that I thought was weird. The mom told the guy, he was like, well, I want you there. You know what I mean? It's just going to
Mhm.
be, you want to invite your friends. Otherwise, it's just going to be me, you, and a bunch of grandpa's old buddies talking about grandpa. And I was like, don't you want to hear that
Yeah,
shit?
isn't that exactly what a wake is supposed to be?
I mean, it's not even just a wake, like on the base level. I mean, like, just like furthermore, like as a human, don't you want to know a little bit about your grandpa
Yeah.
who's
Or
trying to
her
leave you a
father.
treasure? Yeah, or her, yeah, like or
Yeah.
her father, and so it's like, or her father, yeah, her father, his mother's father, or his mother's
Or
father, yeah.
could be no, sorry, I think it's probably father-in-law. I imagine
Oh,
her,
I bet
yeah, I
you,
imagine her husband is his son. So yeah,
that would explain
this
that. That would
is
explain
yeah.
that. But yes, and then on the deeper level, you're trying to solve a mystery. Don't you think any of these guys might have like maybe information for you, or could tell you something
Yeah,
about your
exactly.
grandfather
Yeah.
we didn't know? Like anything. And then it's like, and then he has to have his arm twisted and to go into the wake. And it's like, you little brat.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm only gonna go if I can invite my girlfriend. It's like, oh my God. First of all, it was your grandfather. You should be going to his wake. Like, no questions asked. I don't know.
Exactly.
So what if he treasure hunted and was crazy at the end of his life? Who are you to say like, oh, I don't need him anymore? He's only trying to leave me a freaking treasure.
It left you a house.
Yeah, he left me a house and freaking treasure, like a treasure
I mean,
map.
you saw that house. That house is worth millions of dollars.
That's his house. That's
Yeah.
like his house now. Oh my God!
In Baton Rouge. He is gonna be a millionaire.
Just off the house alone,
And he
oh
is
my God.
angry.
And doesn't even want to go to his wake. It's going to be kind of annoying to talk to these people who could have clues to this treasure. Why can't I just have the treasure? Oh, my grandpa's so lame.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was awful. I was like, you're terrible. I dislike you. Let's see.
I mean, we're back to the
Scene
girls
6.
talking in the apartment again.
Yeah, that
The
was
apartment that they
scene 5.
still should not be able to afford.
And what are they working? Are either of them working? It's the middle
Exactly.
of the day.
Yeah, exactly. We do see her work several times because she works at the bar now, and that's at night. So,
but you ain't living in that place.
Yes. Yeah.
I know. Let's see. So then I've seen 6 is terrible. Boardroom, bad guys are afraid of Salazar or the missing dad I have.
Everyone in this boardroom looks fake. Nothing about this looks real. I tell you the only thing that looks real, the chairs. Those are 100% boardroom chairs. If you've ever sat in, I know you have, if you've ever sat in in the big meeting room of a law firm, those are the chairs at every single one.
That's the thing they're not saying in this episode. This is a law firm. That's all they're not saying. Like this is where this meeting would be held. Everyone would think that they were like, oh, we're confident, everything's confidential here. We can really, we'll really be greasy here. But just a bad scene. It felt like a bad Rick and Morty sketch I have written here. Is like it just looks like you would like Rick would just cut into the room, be like, oh, shady boardroom stuff, and then just move out of the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I have Catherine Zeta-Jones. It's just terrible. I mean,
look, Catherine Zeta-Jones used to be an incredible actress. I loved her in Zorro.
Yeah. I loved her. She used to be terrible. That's why I didn't finish my sentence. It's so embarrassing to see her in there.
It is. And I'm gonna steal something from Az real quick. The amount of Botox she's got in that face now
it almost didn't even need
horrible.
to be said. Yeah, it's terrible. It's again embarrassing to see her like this. Like she's got all the ritz and glamour and the private jets and the technology, and she just looks terrible.
How much
And
how
not
much
even
in
like
debt?
vanity wise.
Yeah, how much in debt is she and Michael Douglas? They must be poor now.
They must be because he's coming out, which I don't know if we want to talk about in a different video, but the Quantum Mania trailer came out today.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
That's all right.
I did see the new poster, and it looks better. I got some stuff to say about that, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, no, you should react to it, or we should react to it together, or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they must be in a lot of debt. But moving on, let's see, iPad Lady and Catherine
The
Zeta-Jones
iPad
fight.
lady needs to. I wish she had fallen down the cave.
Yeah, seriously, because she is just cringy. iPad Lady fights good. Let's not use our guns. Why do they always do this? And they're like, I'm going to hit her with my gun. It's like, shoot her with your gun.
Yeah. I
Otherwise,
promise
you're
you,
gonna.
a piece of metal going at 1,800 feet per second is going to hurt a lot more than a punch.
Yeah, it'll make a loud noise, but you all brought guns. Aren't you prepared to use them? Like you're
Yeah.
here to commit crime. I never get this in movies where they're like, "Oh, we'll just attack her one by one without our guns," and it's like, okay, this is so. Okay, so Money Lady is what, ex-CIA or something? Like, what is going on?
She's something.
Yeah, she's something, all right. She's an Apple genius. Scene 8. Let's see. I have new.
And then we spend the next 22 minutes at the house at Sandusky's old house.
Yes, there's a critical scene you forgot there. How could you forget Catherine Zeta-Jones' last scene in the episode?
Because
New
it's
bad
very
crony. Yeah, scene 8, new bad crony is there, who's just with Catherine Zeta-Jones and iPad Lady. And then they find out that Riley Poole's on the scene.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's their last time you see her. Now here's the Wake flirt. All the flirting is pain. It's so annoying. Riley Poole sucks. He's so cringy in the scene. He's like, I'll just introduce myself to you and your group. Do you have any clues for me? He's like an NPC, you know?
Yeah, or I gotta say, Oren, in the entire show so far, Oren has felt like a guy who walked onto set, said, "Hey, I'm here to play the quirky guy," that wasn't actually on like in the script at all, and they just said, okay."
Aw. Well, he actually had the funniest part of this episode, but we'll get there later. I hate to say this, he's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's
He's
kind of
the
sad,
person
isn't
who
it?
feels like a real person. Like I know that guy, you know, like you know what I mean. Like I just feels like I know him. I'm like, I mean, other than the TV stupidity where he's like, "Oh, we not eating chips right now, bros." You know what I mean? It's like he seems the most like he's like, "I'm gonna run home and get my books to sign." It's like that makes kind of sense. Somebody would actually. I know somebody who would probably run home and get their stuff.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, Riley Poole sucks. He's a guest star, so they're going to use him up. Clunky introduction. Clue solving at a wake. Like, can anybody respect the dead here? Like, none of this is for you guys.
The stuff's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, none of this is for you. Like, I couldn't help but think of, like, how rude it was for Jess to be like, oh, I'm going to solve the clue here. And it's like, this is so, like, I hope at your funeral, your granddaughter could not give a shit less and is just after where you buried your money. Like, I really hope that, because that's what you've shown here at for Harvey Keitel. And also, I thought to myself, I was like, why are they talking about this not in the treasure hunting room? Like, all this
Exactly. Yeah,
should be
you're just sitting
happening in
there
that
out in the
room.
open. You've got someone chasing you and trying to find your treasure, and you're just like, I'm just going to talk about everything out in the open.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. So there are a bunch of network TV shows that I still watch, and I have noticed over the episodes that have come out between the start of the season and today, there are a bunch of times where the actors are like screaming. I don't know if they had issues on set that day or what, but they're talking much louder than they should be talking there. And that's what it feels like here. That they're screaming for the camera as if their boom mics aren't working or something.
Yeah, like why aren't they like hushing up? You know what I mean? Be like, oh, we
Yeah.
actually have like it's like a secret treasure, but there's FBI agents around here, so maybe we should talk later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Only to be
y'all have already showed you don't trust the FBI.
Yeah. You're at like, and there should be nothing but like hardened FBI veterans here.
Mhm.
Like they should all be skeptical. They should all be staring at this kid who could be a murder suspect for inheriting this house and treasure, and he didn't have any prospects for that. And they were estranged. Like there should be some suspicion. Like these guys worked with him for decades.
Yeah.
You know, they should find his death suspicious or something. It's just so like it's so clean. It's like, oh, here's the FBI boss. He's from the other ones. You know, it's like, oh, geez. Speaking of, he comes in, talks to Riley Poole, and he's like, "Don't make me arrest you." And it's like, okay, they obviously had to put these two guys in the scene because they were in the other movies. Otherwise, they would not need to talk to each other.
Well, and then okay, so apparently it's just everyone just knows that Ben and them got away with stealing Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, like it's just common knowledge,
yeah.
and everybody feels good about it, and they're friends.
So then, because of the end scenes of the second one, obviously everyone knows that the lost city of gold was discovered as well. Okay, well, the FBI has not arrested Ben for two big things: stealing Declaration of Independence and kidnapping the president of the United States. So you would think that these young treasure hunters would be like, you know what? Maybe this dude who was part of the team both times, maybe we could actually trust him because he's done this twice.
Yeah,
and
because
he
he's
hasn't
a criminal.
arrested Ben.
He's also a criminal. Like,
why do you say that?
Like Riley Poole is like you said, like it's just okay that they did all this criminal stuff.
Yeah,
like,
sorry, I thought you were talking about the FBI agent.
Oh no. I mean, yet to be seen, but I mean, he's definitely working with the bad guys. But again, it's just like there's potential here, but it's like Riley Poole should have either been the main character, you know what I mean, or been in this from the beginning. Like, if you can't get Nicolas Cage back, then you get this guy back, and because he already brings more like, oh yeah, I remember the other ones were good. You know, like you're like, oh, those were fun. He was funny in those movies.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the next one, he gets back to Bro Dude, gets back to the house and finds that the Asian guy didn't go golfing. He's hanging out with his girlfriend, right? That's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And why would he lie about golfing? I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's yet to be seen. Oh, because he went to go meet Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's what he was going to do. Because then the next scene, he's like, oh, I got to go golfing. And then that's when the boardroom happens. That's exactly what happened. Okay. Then
so you still think he's the spy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll enjoy.
Has that been revealed in episode 5?
It has. Enjoy episode 5.
All right. Well, I guess we won't spoil that here.
No, we will not.
For any of the people out there who care. Scene 11, FBI is just working the wake. Like, how tacky. Like, there's FBI. It's an FBI agent has died here. There would be other FBI agents. Why is just this random rogue young agent just like, I'm going to go question the FBI agent's grandson and think it's okay at a wake? You know what I mean? Like, I just wrote tacky. I was like, that's just tacky. You know, like, she wouldn't need that information. Like, oh, they were estranged. Like,
yeah. She's questioning the nurse about, like, how was he at the end?
Yeah, like, wouldn't there be like police? Wouldn't there be reports, like FBI reports? Like,
yeah,
hey, like, our guy is about to go down. Like, here's what he's saying. I don't know. I just feel like it was just she and that actress is so clunky. Like, she doesn't have any idea.
It feels like her
doing.
First job, or it feels like it's her first job or something.
Yeah, and she just read like a book that was like, so you're playing an FBI agent, huh?
Oh yeah, and she read what's the book they tell you to read in college? How to Make Friends.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I have here she sucks. She's afraid of her boss. She's snooping around. Oh yeah, in all caps I have written here flower app. Don't you know that all those times you need to identify flowers whenever you're anywhere, you just pull up your flower app and it instantly detects the flower.
I must have forgotten about that part.
Oh my god! I was like, what? I was laughing. I was like, what is that? Why would anybody have that going into a mission? Like, oh, I better make sure I download my spoon app so I can take pictures of spoons. It'll tell me the manufacturer. Yeah. It's like, why would you have that? I've seen 12. I just have written go hide. Oh yeah, she tells the Liam, she's like, go hide, I'll cover you, because they have shared feelings about funerals of loved ones.
Yeah.
FBI lady snoops around. She gets caught for two things. She gets caught snooping around, and he's like, hey, by the way, I was cool with you going against my orders earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we find out that the El Camino is actually trailing them because Oren and Ethan and Ethan's girlfriend, which none of them have met yet, show up to the wake.
That's a place you always bring your girlfriend who hasn't met your friends yet.
First date. Where'd you take your fiance on your first date? Your grandfather's or a stranger's wake, right?
Yeah, I just met a random person, and then he said, hey, we're best friends, so come to my grandfather's wake. Oh no, here's what happened actually. My old roommate burst in the room and said he had met a stranger. And he had went with the stranger to his grandfather's wake, but only to find out there was a famous person at the wake. So he ran home, invited me and my now fiance, which was then girlfriend. Then we went to the wake, snooped around, didn't give a shit about the old person, and then totally moved on with our lives.
Yeah. Like it feels like it's Wedding Crashers.
It feels like that, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so who do you think the guy in the car is? Is it the missing dad? Is it Salazar?
Oh, if it's the missing dad, that might be the worst take.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Now, I think he's probably he's probably a follower of the current Daughters of the Plumed Serpent.
Oh yeah, some
That's
old
probably
one,
what
and
he
he'll
is.
die protecting them from Catherine Zeta-Jones.
He's actually
I've been watching
been
you, little bird.
Exactly, he's actually been sent by the people in charge right now
The
to
secret
watch
order.
Jess.
Yeah.
And
protect her. Yeah.
That's
Even though he almost let her fucking die in this episode.
Oh, I hope I'm wrong.
Oh man, you're not though. That's the problem. Is I bet you're not. Let's see. Riley Poole is in the room. Okay, that's cool. Like it was nice to see him like interacting with the nice things. Asian guy arrives. Needs to warn Liam. I don't know what I meant by
that. About the dude.
Oh yes. Okay. Riley Poole.
Yeah, so now we're with Riley and Jess in the secrets room.
Okay, so here I have Riley Poole literally falls for nostalgia bait.
Yes, I love it. And okay, so now it kind of makes sense why there are signs that say "Do not touch."
Yeah, I mean, how many times did this old man almost choke himself to death? Are we sure he did die? Is that why he had dementia? Because he kept locking himself in the room and he kept killing his brain cells trying to get the code in because he's a frail old man.
What was that? That's autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh God! Now it just took a dark turn. Are you telling me this is David Carradine's office?
I love that he does. He literally goes, "Oh, I'd love to look at these again." No, don't care about the giant signs that says "Do not touch."
In a madman's treasure hunting room.
Exactly.
Why would he do that? Oh, whatever. Because it had to happen. It would have been more sense if like he had bumped into it or something had happened. Or
It would make more sense if there weren't signs that said "Do not touch."
yeah, that would make way more sense.
Because this is the thing. Again, this is a hidden room. Sandusky's the only person that goes in here. There shouldn't be a sign that says "Do not touch"
There
because
shouldn't be
he would
signs.
know not to touch. And so then later, when Riley triggers the thing, it would make sense.
Oh, this is not the downstairs bathroom. Like, it's like it shouldn't be anybody in here. Not even the maid should be in here.
Yeah. It's the secret Elvis room all over again.
The secret Elvis room with signs that say "Do not play this record on this tape player."
Yeah.
That's terrible. Let's see. Riley Pool's stupid. Yeah. Okay. So then I had this weird part, and maybe you can tell me about this. There's like a weird half scene between when they
The nurse and Liam.
There was a scene even before that where the mom says it's time to start the eulogy. And there's a really weird scene because it just shows like all these people in nice things. Like literally it opens with like people clinking their glasses and then taking a sip. And I have elites are elite. But then did you notice at the funeral or at the wake, there were all those, how do I say this?
Masons?
All those guys in skirts.
Yeah, they're Masons.
And those were all Masons.
Yeah.
I noticed it was like only black people. Was I wrong?
Maybe. Hang on, I'm playing it right now. Well, in this one scene, yes, but I'm pretty sure the group of Masons earlier are rather diverse.
Well,
I
that's
didn't
fine. But I
notice
just
that.
didn't know if it was something like, how some of those Congress people wear certain things. So anyway, I just didn't know
You
if
mean
this
like
man.
how congressmen wear a lapel pin?
No, I'm thinking it's more. It's larger than a lapel pin. It's usually like African garb. Do you know?
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move on from it honestly because the next scene is where the weird scene with the nurse and Liam. Where it's like the only things that made your grandpa smile were your music, and it was just so weird. It was like, who is this guy? Why is he talking to this kid? Why is everyone trying to cheer up this rich kid who shouldn't by any means be miserable?
The thing that got me was if you took this scene out of context, would you think he's trying to groom this kid?
I mean, most scenes out of context would probably be like that.
I remember watching that feeling like, dude.
It definitely seems like he was trying to sleep with him.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And I tell you what it really feels like. It feels like jealousy.
Oh yeah, and that should have been there. Been like, yeah, I worked. Now you're just given all of this, and I guess I'll have to find a new job while you just enjoy tons of wealth and your hot new girlfriend. And
see,
yeah,
I felt like it was jealousy about love. Like, he actually loved you. I wish he loved me like that. That's what it felt like.
Well, I don't
like it felt. I've kind of felt uncomfortable watching it.
I definitely felt uncomfortable. I'm glad you said the same thing because I was like, what is this scene? Who is this man? Like, and I love how he's just working, and the guy he came off as like a real brat in this episode. He's like, he's working. He's like, I'm just gonna take these chairs, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna help you or like anything. Like it's just like there's a real like.
I remember at my
doing the work.
Yeah, at my mother's wake, there was a lot of stuff that I helped do.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
a lot of things are like that. Like if you go to weddings and stuff like that, like it's very rarely you're never not going to help somebody.
Yeah.
And I just got a real like, this guy doesn't care about the servants at all. But whatever. That's just Hollywood. That's nobody. Somebody wrote that to not care. They're like, oh, why would he care? It's a poor person moving stuff. He's in this scene. He's supposed to move chairs. Why would he care about him as a person?
Yeah. Also, it's a bit weird that the chairs are just like outside in a
Thank you. Yes, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but why were those chairs even there? They're storing chairs there? Did somebody put them there for no reason?
Well, the best part is you fast forward to the FBI guy's speech, and there's a camera angle looking out on the audience. And there are tables in the back of the thing with a bunch of chairs around them. It's like, why didn't you just grab the chairs around the tables?
Yeah, because he's only getting like 2 chairs.
Yeah.
It's not like there's like racks of chairs and it's like, hey, man, here's all the chairs. I need to get here. He's like, hey, I'm here to deliver some exposition for your character. So you'll sing. Oh, God. The bad password, that starts. So they're in the thing with the thing. And then the speech happens, which I don't know if you've ever been to a funeral. I've never, ever, 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 ever seen anybody go up there with a drink in their hand.
Oh, I have. Definitely.
I guess. I wouldn't think that at an FBI agent's funeral that an FBI director would go up with a drink in his hand. I was like, that's weird.
He's not a director. He's just a field. He's just he's just in charge of the New Orleans field office.
Okay. That sounds like if you'd said he's the director of the field office, that would be the same thing.
Oh.
Anyway, we're splitting hairs. He's just a boss. He's management at the FBI. I just wouldn't imagine that it's a very good image. You know what I mean?
And then the same shot I was talking about, what's so great is usually a wake kind of the seating chart is kind of similar to a wedding, close people up front, people who barely know him in the back. Yeah. You've got Oren and his ex sitting 3 rows up, and it's like, guys, y'all don't know this guy. You should be sitting in the back.
They shouldn't even have a table.
Yeah.
There should be 100 people here. Like, has anybody? It's so funny too because it's like whenever they show the camera, like I know they're our main cast, but it's like they have like their own area. I'm like, you guys taking up like a quarter of the guest space here, and and nobody knew you were coming today.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you, Oren, just took it upon yourself to invite other people.
Yeah, yeah. Ethan and his girlfriend are sitting 1 row behind him.
Why? Why are they even there? Why are they even there?
You've got what I'm going to assume.
Don't tell me, dude, bro, is the spy.
You've got what I assume are 3 leading members of Sandusky's Masonic Temple sitting further back than the 4 randos.
Right. They're like, oh yeah, so it was weird.
Yeah, it's just people sitting. I tell you, the director probably said, everyone sit down. I want the 4 main people sitting right here. And no one thought to say anything. They just sat down. It said, okay, yeah, we'll just sit right here. That makes perfect sense.
There almost should have been an entire like aura in this episode of like, we shouldn't be here.
Yes.
Like this, we don't know these people. Like they just had a death in their family. And I've been like hanging out at this guy's house for a week. Like,
you know what? Oren actually probably would have pulled that off really well.
That would have been funny if he had like just been sitting down with a group of FBI agents and had to like entertain them. And then the next time we cut back to him, he's like got them all laughing and they're all drinking and smoking together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would have been the intercut with Jess and Riley, choking.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been good. Like he couldn't care. Like he's like, ha ha ha, and they're like choking. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, we should that would have been much better.
So then we're back. Yeah, we're back with Riley and Jess in the room.
Here's some cringy dialogue. Yeah, I literally wrote, she's so cringy. Here's some dialogue. I'm good at escape rooms.
Yeah, okay. I'm really good at escape rooms.
Good thing this guy had dementia and couldn't remember 6 digits. You sound like an old friend of mine. Blech. Like, give me a break. Like, we get it. She's the new Brown National Treasure lead. Like, you're replacing Nicolas Cage. We get it. You know, it's almost like beating us over the head with it. It's like, hey, audience, this is your new hero, and you will like her because everybody else likes her.
Exactly.
Cringe Wake song. I really am finding this guy like any reason to sing. They're like, well, he's a singer, so let's have him sing. We'll have him sing at Graceland. He'll sing at his grandpa's wake. You know, he'll be singing at Waffle House, and then he'll sing at the Grammys. You know, like, yeah. I'm sure hardened FBI agents love folk wake songs. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
they would all be like, hey, can you turn this off? You know, your grandpa should have bagpipes playing. We should be shooting guns off. Like, what is an FBI funeral look like?
It doesn't look
Everybody
like
be in,
this.
like, uniforms, and there'd be like some presence there. If this guy was like as big as he was, there would be like he would have touched so many lives at the FBI that there would be literally 200 people at this wake.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like the local, guy who sells carpets died, and there's like a few people around, but it's like for the most part, nobody cares.
Yeah. People from the Rotary Club have showed up.
Even the Rotary Club would have more people than this. There must be like, what, 30 people at this wake?
Oh, we finally see an American flag.
Oh, yeah, that was only for it to be the wrong answer. Let's see. Everybody has to assemble to help Jess.
Yep.
Jess won't give up. Riley is having a hard time. Won't only have integrity left to go. Gang has to help. They have to find the watch and the book. I don't know if you noticed, they found that book that he had sent him, which is the slogan of the bad boardroom. It's like Cra est Nostrum or something.
Right. Yeah. Still, I think it's spelled incorrectly, but okay.
I'm going to look that up now.
Yeah. Here it is. Everyone's assembling to save Jess, and they're doing the same thing that she's already tried to open the thing, and now every single guy comes in and tries to do the same thing.
Yeah. So there's difference. There's the phrase is cross est noster, which means tomorrow be ours, or the future is ours. And then nostrum is a different form of the word. It's usually
Right.
questionable, ready, or scheme. So it's almost like a scheme for tomorrow. Anyway, they thought they were clever. Let's see. But then he finds the watch, which doesn't help. So the gang doesn't actually need to assemble. Like, she was fine. She was always going to be fine. They're dying. Time for her magic power. Like, whenever she needs to remember things well, she can remember things really well. Good callback to National Treasure. I have written down here in terms of, I think, the way they're talking to each other. They figure out Sacagawea, and then he goes, "You think like Ben."
Yeah.
Did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Did you watch The Legend of Korra?
I did not know.
Okay, good. The Avatar: The Last Airbender is literally one of the best shows ever, and Legend of Korra sucks. I don't like. There's parts of it that are good, but I don't like the majority of it. I would say 80% of it is bad, and it's all damaging to the lore. So I would rather have none of it.
Last night.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a part in the very first scene, or like the prologue of the show, where they're like discovering the Avatar, like the new girl's the Avatar, which is fine.
Uh-huh.
There were other Avatar that were really cool, like Avatar Kyoshi was really cool, like no problem with that. But like she bursts out of the wall. She's firebending, waterbending, and earthbending at like 4 years old. And she goes, "I'm the Avatar now. You got to deal with it." And it was like telling the audience, like the writers were like, "This is your new Avatar, so you need to just deal with it." and it was just like, we get it, like we get it, and that's how it feels like with all these shows where they're like, we're gonna replace the one you like with our version, and you got to deal with it.
because we didn't know the next Avatar was going to be a waterbender, and because it wasn't like, well, it's not like female avatars aren't new.
Right, they're not new to the thing, and this isn't an Avatar stream. We should have one of those because there's a lot there. But like, anyway, it's just like this trope almost where it's like, I'm the Avatar now. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm the thing.
That's what it feels like. I'm the thing. I look at me. I am the Ben Gates now. Anyway, so that's my little rant about you think like Ben. Oh yeah, okay. So now they're all hanging out in the room, and it's like, okay, I'm glad the wake is over. Like everybody's here, and the wake is over. Okay, the wake's over.
Well, see, that I actually think that's the part that makes the most sense, because first off, Liam doesn't want to be there, and the other people shouldn't be there. So it makes sense they're all together away from the wake.
Yeah, it just feels like, and I'm sure you've been to family functions at family houses. Rarely do people just leave.
Yeah.
Like it's like a 2 hour, like it's over, and it's like, okay, there's an hour-long thing of like, all right, everyone got leftovers, and everyone's in their cars, and grandma's okay, finally, everybody's gone. You know what I mean? There could have been that. They literally didn't even need to show anybody. There could have just been Leo being like, hey, thanks again for coming, shuts the door, turns around, goes, and then they can talk. It's just like, okay, next thing. We're in a TV show here. Come on, hurry up. York is a black hero. Thank goodness Riley just knew all of that. There wasn't even a Google search needed there. Oh, my handwriting's terrible. Servants clean up. Liam and Jess are so going to be together forever. Bad kiss, bad music. Oh, double bad kiss. Hang
on. So real quick, just before that, the thing that got me. There's two things. One is just before these kisses, when Jess is explaining everything, she says something like, "It's Sacagawea," and Liam just goes, "Of course," like he gets it.
Yeah, like instantly. Like if you said that to me, I would look at you and be like, "What's Sacagawea? What does that have to do with anything?"
The reason that kind of stuff made sense in the movie is because Ben and Abigail were both students of history.
Students, like that was like their careers.
Yeah, that's why it made sense.
Yeah, that's why it was engaging.
Yeah, these are 22-year-old, barely off teenagers that don't know this kind of stuff. I mean, she evidently does. He doesn't. There's been nothing in the show so far to show us that he is an intellectual.
Well, there's nothing that any of them have done to show that any of them are intellectuals. Like, if this whole thing would have been like, I would literally take my citizenship depends on me getting a good grade in this class, and I need to clear my grandfather's name in one fell swoop. Bam, there's your show. But no, it's like no stakes. She doesn't actually have to do this. She can go and get a job anywhere in the world and be fine, and all of her friends would be fine. And they would live their friends' lives. And then whenever she felt like it, she could come and solve the puzzle whenever she felt like it. So there's no urgency here. Like when they were trying to clear the Gates family name,
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So on to the kisses. I did not hear him ask permission. He grabs Jess. I believe we call that battery.
I mean, that's sexual battery, my friend.
I mean, he just committed a crime.
In front of FBI agents, I would imagine.
I mean, Disney, I would expect you to be better. You're promoting not asking.
And he's not a BIPOC community member. So really, he really needs to check his privilege. And
Also, it's kind of a gross kiss.
I wrote bad kiss because it's like her.
Like
he's doing the chin and mouth thing.
Yeah. So I just skipped 10 seconds and got stuck on a picture where she's like trying to swallow his face.
Eat it.
Yeah, like it's like, girl, come on. This is rated like G.
And then they did the double thing. I was like, all right, double kiss, okay. And then I'm not gonna lie. Like when it zoomed out to Tech Girl and Bro Guy, I looked over and I was like 3. I wrote 3 question mark and I underlined it. And then she didn't let him kiss her. And then he was like, oh man, I wrote LOL. That was the only part of the episode I actually liked.
Yeah. And
then I literally wrote, I like do bro.
Yeah. And you can see Ethan the whole time looking at them go, and you just tell he's upset about it.
That's the Asian guy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, if my fiance ever saw me watching my platonic best friend kissing another guy with me staring longfully at them, I'm pretty sure she would know what was up.
She'd be pissed.
She'd be like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
And I just got to the scene where she says no, and it is actually kind of funny because he plays it off. Orin's the best part of this show. He feels I imagine they just didn't give him a script.
He probably doesn't need one. I mean, what would they wouldn't even know how to be him better than he would be. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. And now we're back to Riley get on the plane, and of course he says Abigail just posted a photo of Charlotte, and for a second you go, oh, they had a kid. No, it's a dog.
It's kind of funny, at least.
Well, yeah, so
why he would name his dog that doesn't make any sense, but
what?
Why he would name his dog that? Like, a child is one thing, and a child's going to outlive you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, obviously they named Charlotte because of the boat.
Right. No, I know why the name Charlotte. Okay. I'm saying, why would you name a dog that?
Oh, yeah, because, I would have named my firstborn.
Like, it makes sense for your daughter, yeah.
Yeah. Assuming they have. But, they probably don't have kids because that would rob her of her agency when it comes to the third movie.
So they're coming out with the third movie?
Yeah, no, they are actually doing a third movie. It's in, I think they're supposed to start filming in a couple months.
Well, then there's no excuse then for Nicolas Cage to not have some sort of voiceover work for the show.
Yeah. Well,
like he's the one that should lend legitimacy to these spin-offs. Right?
Yes,
he should be the one that's like, hey, I need your guys' help.
Yeah. Well, they bring his mother in on this.
Really?
Yeah. Remember at the end of this episode where he calls to tell Jess, which is where we are not now. He's about to call to tell Jess that, they have the code, they have the Elvis thing as well. He knows because he got a text, I'm assuming from Ben, that Ben's mother, the world's foremost indigenous language translator, asking what the thing meant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's not on screen, but
yeah, that's what
also,
I thought. Like,
Riley's assistant looks like a loser.
I thought he was going to be like this whole character in the episode, but he wasn't at all. So thank goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, so I know it sounds like I said.
Oh, big reveal. She just finds out there's a mole in the group, and then that's the end.
I know it sounds like I had a lot of critiques for this. I had a lot more critiques for past episodes than I did for this one. There are a bunch of little things that I think are dumb about this episode and the show in general. but I did think this was the best of the 4 episodes I've seen.
Well, I actually had way more fun in the last episode.
Yeah. Just wait, because I watched episode 5 today. Just wait. We'll review
I'm gonna
that
watch it in the
later.
morning. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it in the morning, and then
We'll record a video for that in a couple days with I think 6 as well.
Yeah, but overall, I'm gonna give this episode. I think I gave the last one. I gave a 4 out of 10. Is that what I said? I don't know if we're keeping track like that. This one's gonna get a 3. This one's gonna get a 3 out of 10.
For me, I'd give this one a 5.
It's just,
not. It's not.
I don't know why I'm watching it. I don't know why I'm watching it.
It's not good, but it is not the worst thing I've seen on TV this year.
All right. Well, I'll keep watching Bad Things to see if this gets any better then.
Yeah.
But as far as the episode 4 review of National Treasure: Edge of History, we're going to leave it there. We appreciate you guys listening in. And please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can find out anytime Caleb plays a game or we are discussing something in pop culture. Any closing words, Caleb?
Follow us on Twitter at KingsAdvisors_.
Excellent. Yes, please follow us on Twitter. Yeah, I'll have a nice day.